Welcome to another episode of Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. And on this episode, we're going to kind of run around the AFC South just a little bit with a few different things, some on the field, one off the field, and the rest on the field. Okay, so of course, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of different things going on. You got OTAs, you got football starting to ramp back up for a lot of teams, of course, AFC South as well. But there is some news and headlines out there as well. And of course, one that took, basically took over all the topics and all of the talk and all those different things would be about Mr. Travis Hunter. For those that are not aware, Travis Hunter did get married this past weekend. So here's the picture. Check that out. See? Now, with him getting married, of course, there's a lot of talk about his relationship. Now, of course, Leanna Lene, I think is believe is her name, how you pronounce her name correctly. If I pronounced it wrong, I apologize. But there has been a lot of criticism about this relationship. From the talk of, how they met and how they initially started talking, how she really liked him at first, to kind of a few different things in terms of videos with him, in terms of, the Heisman presentation, that video, and different things like that. So there's been a lot of talk on social media about he shouldn't be with her. He shouldn't be with her. He shouldn't be with her. He should break up with her. She's only with him for his money, all those different things. And that's been talked about ad nauseum. And then, of course, he gets married, and then a lot of people find out he doesn't have a prenup. And, of course, plenty of people are saying he's a fool. He's this, he's that, he whatever. And while everyone is entitled to their opinion when it comes to Travis Hunter and what he's doing with his life, ultimately, it just seems like a lot of people want him to not want this to fail so they can say, I told you so. Now, I understand the care and the concern and all those different things. But one thing I also understand too is that Travis Hunter is grown. And so is his wife now. They're both grown. You can like the relationship. You can not like the relationship. You can do all those different things, have those different feelings. Doesn't mind me any. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to wish doom and gloom upon them. I'm going to wish them well. I'm going to hope their marriage lasts the test of time and that both of them are genuinely happy. Too many times people wish doom and gloom. So, I know that from some people wish doom and gloom because, hey, maybe they're not happy in what they have, or maybe they just simply want to be right that bad. Me personally, I don't want to be right that bad to wish this not to work for Travis Hunter and Leanna Lene. I wish them well. Hope it all works out, and I hope they are happy above all things. And of course, Travis Hunter is going to be doing this thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars on offense and defense as well this season. Of course, he was back at OTAs and doing a lot more defensive work and things like that. But just wanted to kind of touch on that to kind of start the show because, of course, there's been a lot of people, saying all these different things about Travis Hunter, about his now wife, things like that. But I honestly am kind of exhausted by it. I'm like, hey, if he, he's grown, he's going to make his own decisions, and it is what it is. And there's not anything that anyone else can do about it at this point. It is what it is. He's happy, she's happy, and I wish them well on their marriage. That's just wanted to start the show with that one. But of course, that's not the only thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some things on the football field as well. And we're going to start with the Titans and the 4H's. Now, getting over to the football field now, it's kind of sort of on the football field. The 4-H's, it's something different the Titans are doing this offseason. They're, doing basically having competitions, things like that, and drills, and splitting into teams where you have captains and a co-captain or one right below as well, and they basically are there just to basically creating competition and getting to learn each other. Let me have one guy explain it a little bit more. I actually was able to catch up with Illick Ailmaner, Xavier Restrepo, and Calvin Ridley at Calvin Ridley's football camp this past weekend. I asked him about the 4-H's, and just take a listen to his answer real quick.
The 4-H's, man, that's been talked about a lot by a lot of people. Some people outside not understanding, not giving it love. But I would say, to Titans fans and to the Titans players, from what I've heard, it's been very important, very positive, and bonded a lot. It's helped everyone bond a lot.
Yeah.
So what do you kind of see that's happening with the 4-H's and the competitions and things like that?
Yeah, well, I did I guess you could call it like a presentation on my own history, and whatever, all the 4-H's, the history, the hardship, the hero, and highlight. And so I did mine, I think, 2 days ago, and I think a part of it just you open yourself up, and when you open yourself up, it allows other players to open themselves up to you as well. And so I started talking to people on the team that I had never talked to before after I did my 4-H's. And then in terms of the competition and the crucible and all of that stuff, it's just been great. Every day is a competition. It helps you understand that every day is a competition. You have to get better every day if you want to win the NFL. And so the culture has been great to see how the culture is established here has been awesome, and I think they're really trending in a positive direction.
Now, if you didn't catch it, the 4-H's, I'm going to tell you what the 4-H's are for the Tennessee Titans if you are not aware. They are history, hardship, heroes, and highlights. Yes, each player has to kind of tell these four things in their group as to what those four things are for them. And in doing so, they're learning about each other, they're figuring out more, and they're actually bonding closer. And that bond could potentially, of course, allow them to trust each other more on the football field. We'll see how it works out as it goes in the long term. But this is something that, definitely to watch and to gather as well. But another thing I want to mention as well, along with allowing them to connect deeper, is also the competition portion of it. Definitely. You get the competition portion of it, and you're competing every single day, just like Alex said. But I just want to get you listen to Xavier Restrepo. He actually talked about the 4-H's and then talked about the competition as well. Take a listen.
4-H's, that has been the talk of everyone in media as well as you all. So how do you feel that's kind of brought you all together closer and helped you all bond and learn each other and grow as a team so far?
No doubt. I mean, I think in order to lead, you have to know your guys on a personal level, and that's what I did with my guys at Miami. We didn't call it the 4-H's, but I've gotten to know each and every single one of my receivers at Miami on a personal level. I did that actually last year, so I think just to, get to know everybody on a personal level, that way when you're asking something from somebody, it's not out of, disrespect, where they come from, you know their heroes, their hopes, when in their life they've had heartbreak, so you could just push them that much more, and you know how to talk to people, because I'm from South Florida, so all coaches in South Florida, all they do is scream, Some coaches are different, but that's the majority of what they do. And some kids don't learn that way, Some kids learn, by just bringing them and showing them, So I think getting to know everyone on a personal level is definitely better for the team culture.
Well, I did mention, that he did talk about the competition. Didn't quite get that cut in there, unfortunately. My apologies, but talked about the 4H's again and getting to know his teammates, and basically talked about what I told you about in terms of pushing your teammates, getting to know your teammates more, getting to, know what pushes them to be better. So that way you can, know how to, I guess, maneuver for around them or get the best out of them or know them just even that much more to react and I guess being more in sync on the football field. So that's something to watch when it comes to the Tennessee Titans and just to watch overall for this team, just to see how they bond, how they come together, and what all happens, as a result of the 4H's and those things that have been going on this off season. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hit a little bit more footage I got from out at the Calvin Ridley football camp. They were talking about the connection between themselves and Cam Ward. You're going to hear a few words from the receivers, from a few receivers, of course, but which we just talked to, of course, for Restrepo, Alec Ammanor, and maybe Calvin Ridley as well. So you guys, tune in, come back. We'll get into that and more on Touring the AFC South.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off of these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get this EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash. A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics.
All right,
And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born.
All right, having a little technical difficulties there, but we're right back on Touring the AFC South. And like I mentioned before the commercial break, one other thing that I wanted to, talk about when it came to the Tennessee Titans is the connection with Cam Ward. That was something I did ask, a lot of the receivers, all the receivers out there. I did ask Calvin Ridley. I asked Xavier Restrepo and ask Alec Ammanor. Now, I will say, of course, it's obvious with Restrepo, he has the connection. We saw what he did with Cam Ward in Miami. And of course, for those that haven't seen, you need to go to Titans social media and see the pretty pass that Cam Ward threw to Calvin Ridley today. But we did talk to Calvin Ridley about just the getting on the same page, the bond, and forming a bond with Cam Ward and seeing, kind of how that was going, things like that. Take a listen to what he had to say.
So as far as the kind of the bond between you and Cam and, getting, on the same page, how do you feel that's going so far early on?
You got to keep throwing. It's going to be good. He throws great time. His time is up to date. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Right now, we're just bonding to be friends, brothers, but we're working at the same time, but we're becoming more as brothers right now. We're getting us hanging out really good.
As you can tell, Calvin Ridley had a little bit of excitement when he was talking about Cam Ward. I mean, he's been out there with him for just a little bit now. So he kind of, senses that, you can kind of sense a little bit of the excitement in his voice when talking about Cam Ward. And one thing you also mentioned that he slipped in is that talking about, just the accuracy and, how he throws a pass. And that is one thing that I believe that we're going to see from Cam Ward that's probably may surprise some people is the accuracy that he has in tight spaces. Perhaps we may get to see that as the season goes on. We'll see what happens, but I believe we'll get to see some of those different things from Cam on the field. Another person, of course, is going to be catching passes from him is Alec Ailmaner. And I did ask him about the connection with Cam. Here's what he had to say.
Cam, of course, there's a lot of tension around him, a lot of tension around this team, being with the number 1 overall pick here. How do you feel that bond is coming along and you all getting on the same page as the days go by?
Yeah, I mean, Cam's always on the right page, and so it's been good to see like how he works. Obviously, Strepp has worked with him for a long time, so they have a great amount of chemistry. And so I really just try to do my job all the time, and that's how I think you're supposed to build trust. And I think that's what I've been doing. And he's been really, honestly, like whenever he throws the ball, he's meshing with whoever is catching it because he really is accurate on time all the time. And so it's been great to work with him and everybody else on the team for that matter.
Notice he said he's accurate and on time all the time. And he wasn't the only person that said that. Xavier Restrepo said that too. And another thing, I didn't put this video clip in here though, but Xavier Restrepo was talking about how they connected in 6 months and how they, him and Cam Ward, were able to get on the same page so quickly. And he's just like excited to see how much further they can get on the same page, just in their professional careers as well. And, of course, he talked about how they used to meet at like 5 o'clock and go over, study tape and things like that. This is not 5 o'clock in the afternoon, folks. I'm talking 5 o'clock in the morning. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops in terms of film study and things like that when it comes to Cam Ward and just the rest of the wide receiver room, other quarterbacks and things like that. So, it definitely bodes well in terms of the study habits and just the relentless pursuit of success that it sounds like Cam Ward has been on for some time now. So again, definitely something to look forward to if you're a Titans fan when it comes to Cam Ward and the words that are being mentioned from these wide receivers, like on time, accurate. Those are big words when it comes to a quarterback, especially a quarterback in the NFL, because accurate and on time means you're open, he's going to hit you with the football. And, one thing there's a smaller window for when you're open in the NFL as opposed to college. College window open is huge. NFL window open is small. And if a quarterback is accurate, if you have basically a veteran wide receiver and Calvin Ridley kind of talking about those different things, then he's kind of starting to put everything all together and getting ready for his ascension into being the Titans quarterback. Of course, just want to mention he has not been named the starting quarterback. There is a quarterback competition. Do I think he's going to be named the starting quarterback eventually? Yes. But, as of right now, Cam Ward is not the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans as of yet. One last thing I want to touch on, and that is I'm going to talk about Maason Smith. Now, Maason Smith was I believe second or third round draft pick from LSU. The Jaguars were high on him, looking at him, a big, strong guy. I will say, I believe a coach from LSU was on the staff, and that's how, they kind of had a little bit of insight on him. Big, strong guy. They draft him. Doesn't really play quite as much as some would have liked last season. Of course, dealing with an ankle injury as well. But, he definitely was a guy that has the frame, has the size, has the ability to make some things happen. It just didn't quite happen for him last season. So going into the offseason, some people thought that maybe they would draft a defensive lineman to kind of step in there, maybe a little earlier, perhaps, because they need someone in the interior of that defensive line to go along with Eric Armstead, who will be moving back down towards the interior this season. Well, they didn't pick anybody. They stuck with Maason Smith, and I believe they're high on him as well. So, just want to kind of, show you just what he was talking about and what's different in this defense, because this defense going into this year, it's going to be different with the defensive coordinator, who is former Green Bay linebackers and running game coordinator coach Anthony Campanile. I'm sorry. So take a listen to Maason Smith. Now, I will say, let me give credit, news for Jack's own Jamal St. Cyr. I got to give him credit for this footage right here. He is absolutely doing his thing down there. And if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, or if you're not, you're just a football fan, you got to keep up with Jamal St. Cyr. He's doing his thing. But here you go with the footage right here. I just grabbed this real quick. Let's just take a listen to what he thinks is, or what Maason Smith thinks is, the difference between this year and last year in terms of what is being asked of him and other defenders this year.
Not necessarily. I feel like we just able to play a lot more free instead of more laterally. You know what I'm saying? The coaches have told us, from the first time they got here, they want to have more go, more getting off the ball, more penetration. Whereas last year we was kind of playing more on the line of scrimmage. So it's kind of the same technique, but it's just more, go however you see fit kind of thing. If you take a shot, make it. If you miss it, that's on you. But you know what I'm saying? You got that kind of leeway to, make those plays and, kind of see it as you fit.
Younger.
Again, thank you again, Jamal St. Cyr. I saw that footage, man, and I was like, man, I started thinking a few things when I saw it. I mean, Maason Smith is not a small man, y'all. He's not a small man. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of his information in terms of his size. Let me just give you that real quick, just to give you a heads up. Well, let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's see. He is, are you ready? He is roughly 6'5", 306 pounds. Big man. And, with him being kind of, in his terms, kind of being be able to play a little bit more freely, now he may be able to get in his bag just a little bit more. I know he's got the agility and the strength and the speed. He coupled that with a little bit tighter technique, and maybe, just maybe, Jacksonville may have the guy they need in the interior of their defensive line, the young guy they have been looking for to kind of tighten things up in there. Because for years, of course, Jacksonville Jaguars have been able to be run on through the middle of that defense, and linebackers have not been clean for Jacksonville. Now, Volakan, he's going to find a way to make a tackle anyway. But with Smith up there, if they are able to get a guy that can take up blocks, that can make plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that can discourage teams from running the football, that takes the Jacksonville defense to a whole nother level, because teams will be a little bit more predictable. And with that being said, of course, you've got two pass rushers on the outside, quite possibly the best duo of pass rushers potentially in the NFL. I would say, of course, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. are going to have something to say about that as well. But they're up there nonetheless, and Trevon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. If you put them in a situation where it is easily a pass situation, boy, oh boy, it's going to be pretty dangerous when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars if that's the case. But again, this all depends on Maason Smith living up to the ability that he has. If he's able to live up to the ability that he has, then it could be lights, camera, action in there, and he could be the missing piece that they needed to kind of slow down the run and make some things happen in the middle of that defense. If he doesn't, that means they're still looking, and that wouldn't be good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But in playing freely and being able to play more freely and be able to take more chances and things like that, that might play right up Maason Smith's alley, and in turn make this defense better. We'll see what happens, but hey, that is some positive things for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And yes, I know if you're watching the show, I spelled it Maason with 2 A's because that's the way he spells his name. He spells it with 2 A's, not 1. All right, we have reached the end of the show.
Not necessarily. I feel like we just.
No, I wasn't saying not necessarily we was at the end of the show. That's what I was trying to tell y'all. But I do have to thank you all for listening into this episode and watching this episode. Of course, my name is Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. You can also find me same thing on Blue Sky. Of course, touring the AFC South. Of course, you can find on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. We are also on, of course, YouTube as well. We can go ahead, subscribe, and click the bell where you can catch every single episode every time they drop. Of course, again, my name is Mike Patton. I didn't mention where you can find me on Instagram and Threads. You can find me there at that's THA, not THE, _general_MP. Of course, thank you all again for tuning in to this episode of Touring the AFC South. Again, I'm your host, Mike Patton. We're out. Peace.